now.
My shoe is not about my food. Potato.
Hello.
Sneeze.
You were gonna sneeze?
I thought you were gonna sneeze. You went. I was waiting for it.
Well, that was my thinking about what I was gonna say. Hello. Hello.
Hello. La la la.
You look cute with a high pony today. It's like swinging a little bit, yeah. You actually can. So that because you gave yourself a haircut recently.
Mm-hmm.
The length that you took off allows you to wear a high pony now.
It's still a little bit heavy.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I've only had it in for like an hour maybe. And I was like, my head's starting to hurt, but I think it's because I've had to practice because it's been a while since I've had a high pony because high pony's my favorite though.
Yeah.
I just feel like, you know, when you're like in that mood, it makes me feel like, yeah.
Right. I feel like that too. I feel young and bouncy and like I could go for a run like swinging. Hello everybody. We said hello and then we talked about high ponies.
High ponies.
We are on the Lamb podcast, Southern Ontario-ish. We are real life sisters. I'm Naledi, the young one.
I'm Thamo, the old one.
Yeah. I set you up for that.
It's true. I was like, I can't think fast enough to think about another way to say that.
I am also, as you can tell, the bratty one.
Younger sister.
But she is the bossy one. What'd you say? You're bossy.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, we both are, but you are more bossy.
I definitely have the dominant personality.
Yeah.
But as evidence from many years of don't hurt the baby, Naledi gets away with a lot.
Well, I get away with it. That's not being bossy.
Yeah, sometimes
I like things my way.
Being bossy.
Oh yeah, I just said I like things my way. Oh.
Bossy. I just
Yeah.
like things my way. I just have a firm grasp of control over all situations at all times.
All right, that's more than just because I'm the young one. There's other reasons for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Control issues.
Yes, I do. I do have control issues. Anyhow, we are a knitting podcast, not a sister dynamic high pony podcast.
We are all of the above, really.
Everything. You're gonna get a little taste. And I got a friend with me today. We're podcasting on a different day than normal. Daddy's not available. Well, it's not library day, so I've got a little friend, but he's got a snack and books and cars. And
all these books.
that is I didn't even think about that book. That one, we'll have to play with it after. I think it'll be too loud for talking with Auntie.
I want to play this.
Okay, but I think you have to take it downstairs then.
No.
Or you can get another book that doesn't beep.
No.
Is that horribly loud?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's distracting.
No.
Auntie's
But
saying
this is real life. When you want to do things and you have kids, then you do things with sound effects and background noises.
Okay, I'm going to pause for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking it up. What are you wearing today, Thamo?
Which I feel like you can't really see it, but I am wearing I think the pattern's called Studio Slub or Studio T by Boho Chic, Annie Lupton. And I think when I tested it, it was called Studio Slub Tee. So I called mine the Not So Slub Tee because she knit her original sample in a slub yarn. And I knit mine with Madeline Tosh, I think Euro sock into one-of-a-kind colorways. So I just like striped them together through the whole thing. It is reverse stockinette, so you can see it looks like it's on the wrong side, but the trims are right. And then it has like the exposed seam on the side. And I'm actually wearing it backwards today because it's supposed to have like a high collar, not a high collar, but more like, you know, it would go up to here in the front and then drops down in the back. And I was like, switch it around. See
Yeah, it's nice to have that option. I love that. I want to make some.
Because it's totally just like a tee. Like it's really not anything. It was really a relatively simple knit. I'm not a huge fan of stockinette flat for lots of inches, but definitely not a hard knit and super wearable. And so that's the part that I like. There were moments where I wasn't sure I was going to make it to the end just because I was like, no more purl rows. But
at the end, okay.
The shaping around the neck's like super easy. She does a really well written pattern. So I feel like I would like to knit it again just because it is so wearable. Like just throw it on. Yeah.
Is mine the spring tank?
I don't think so.
Are
you on my project pages or are you on her page?
On your project pages. Is there a...
Maybe it's...
I thought it would be faster. What?
I don't know. The picture should tell you.
There wasn't a picture for that option. Did you take a picture of it?
There should be a picture. If I made a project page for it, there's a picture. I want to see it's something with a W.
Oh, there it is. Soul Sister. But you named it Soul Sister. Well, I guess, hold on. Let's see what hers is. Yeah, Soul Sister.
Not with a W at all. Maybe I'm still thinking about the Windsor shawl.
Oh, the W, there's a W there, but it's just silent. It's spelled
Soul
W.
Sister with a silent W.
Yeah.
And I think it's in Barocco Maya.
Yeah.
Like, it was interesting to knit with. I don't know what else I would use it for, like if a pattern didn't specifically call for it, but it's kind of like a chain plied construction as opposed to like a twisted ply.
Right.
So it makes it, and I think it's like a cotton and wool blend. So it makes it feel like sturdy but not hard, and like kind of light and airy but without being too delicate feeling. Like it feels like wearable fabric that you can actually make with it, you know?
Yeah.
I like that one on you.
It does feel nice on.
And it's a great pattern. I love that pattern that gives you two options. Sorry, I'm like staring down at the tank thinking about it. It has two options, so you could make a tank style or a tunic style, so longer, has a nice crocheted edge on the bottom, and the original pattern does not call for the striping at the bust. It's supposed to just be all one color, but I really wanted to make it in the purple color, the darker color that you can see in the stripe there.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find enough of it in that color anywhere localish to me, and I really didn't want to order it from the States just because it would really drive up the cost of the project. So I did that gray color. I'm not sure what it was called. I have a Ravelry project page, so I think you can see all the details, and I think I put notes about the fact that I striped, but I think it looks cute with the stripe though.
Yeah, it does look cute with the stripe.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen what the original looks like. What?
My nose.
Oh, yeah.
We're just like talking away, and he's like, hey.
We just have Kleenex in every room, right? Here you go. No.
No, he's got it.
Keeping it classy today. Oh, and he's
say, Clark, did you say it doesn't look cute?
What did I say?
I said something. I was like, oh, I think it looks cute with the stripe, and then I think he quietly said, it doesn't look cute.
Oh.
Well, thanks a lot.
He's almost 3. He doesn't have a lot of fashion sense yet. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, you saying fashion sense remind me, last night I took a picture of Miles. I will try to send it to you to see if you can put it in. I was working on my test knit for Jenny from Sweater Freak Knits. It's like the wrap, right? And it's like all the different color blocks. So the boys love it because it's like it's bright and colorful. And Reese was like, "Oh, I really like those blues and that color together." And Miles, it's like, "It's beautiful, Mommy. Can I try it on?" I'm like, "It's still on the needles. It's still attached to the yarn, so you can't go anywhere, but you can try it on." So I just like draped it around his neck, and he's like. And then he wouldn't let me. I wanted to take a picture, but he wouldn't take the picture without his tongue sticking out. So I had to like take a whole bunch and see if I could catch him. I got a really cute one with him, putting his tongue away.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was really cute.
Okay, what are you working on? I just saw, or do you have FOs? I don't have any FOs.
I have no FOs because I'm still trying to finish these test knits. So
Right.
Mostly all my knitting time is finishing up these tests and occasionally dipping into my brackish hat. So, well,
And for me, I've just had a very unfocused knitting week.
yeah.
Like I was like reflecting on why that is, and I know why it is. But now that I've cast on the Flock on the Plain one, I'm like, that's gonna be what I'm gonna focus on for a bit. Oh, I forgot my abalone. Because I actually have a significant amount of it done. It's not exciting, but it's like I said I wasn't going to do it, but it's like it's very close to.
When you said significant amount of it done, I thought you were going to try and show people like your frog balls of yarn. And I'm like, I don't think anybody cares. Like,
no, funny enough, I'm not going to get it. I'll just tell you because it's. I mean, showed it so many times. Yeah. I'll bring it up next week. This week I've been a little bit distracted. I was gonna say, oh yeah, I cast it on with a smaller needle size because I had swatched it with 2 different needle sizes and just felt like the 5 or whatever it calls for is like a little bit like loose, and I was like, I'm still like a little bit thinking, I wonder if it's going to
a little bit this awkward dance move.
Anyone.
I knew what you meant. Like a little bit too much drape.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more structure.
But when I went down to like, I think the 4.5, it was like a little bit too structured. It's like, I don't want it to be like a firm jacket. Like I think I'd rather have
block it at the 4.5 though.
Did I block them?
I'm just thinking because like
it
might relax a little bit and get to that place.
Yeah, no, I still think I want it to be a little more drapey than stiff, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I think I've actually been knitting it a little bit tighter this time. So I'm not noticing at the sag right now as much anyway, but yeah. Stay tuned. There'll probably be yes, there will be. Have confidence in me, man. I will probably have the shoulders done by next week, I feel like. Yeah.
I love those pajamas.
They're so short on him. He's so much bigger than what Morgan was at this age. Yeah. Yeah, you were. Okay. Anyways, well, what do you podcast fitting? Oh, the sleeve.
Still trying to get off Sleeve Island. So progress though. So the entire body is now done, and I did the button band yesterday. Nice. I did a mostly decent job. Picking up stitches is not really. I don't have as much practice at it as I think I would need to like really make like a clean button band. I feel like on the parts where it's straight, it's like easy, and so I think I did a way better job than I might have done back in the day. The parts where there's like the rib and the color work, it's like a little squirrely, but I don't think anyone will notice except me. And a little bit like where the curves are for like shoulder shaping and stuff. I was like, I don't know. Because she gave you like, thankfully, well, thank you, Celine, for like very clear details on like how many stitches to pick up in different sections. Because that's the one thing I really despise when it's like, pick up 150 stitches on this edge. How do I space them out? Like, because I'll end up with like 150 stitches in the first half if I pick them up at every single hole. And then I know, like, I've looked it up in the past, and it's like general rule is like pick up 2 stitches for every 3 rows. So they're kind of spaced. So I'll usually do 2, skip 1, 2, skip 1. But then when you get to the curves, that's where I find like, now I don't know what to do because like it's not obvious. And sometimes like you'll have like 2 rows, but then there's like a decrease. So I'm like, so where do I, so thankfully, I kind of like folded. This is my tip of the day. Phone looks like it's having a mental breakdown.
Stop it.
So what I did was like took the 2 shoulder seams and kind of like folded in half, and then sort of like figured out where the center stitch was on the back of the neck, because it was like, say, pick up 35 like across the back of the neck. So then I could kind of count outwards to get that 35 and then know that like, okay, because where I made it out to wasn't actually to the shoulder seam, because I was kind of using the shoulder seam as a guideline, which I was like, thank goodness I didn't do it that way, or I would have had 35 like so spaced out. So it was like count out from the center and then use that as a marker to count like down towards the seams, which I didn't do that right off the bat. I started picking up, then realized I was short by like quite a bit on the first side. So I was like, I'm just going to keep going and then like write down and figure out what I need to adjust when I come back around to like knit. Because I could kind of like, if I flipped it over, I could kind of see where the strand went across a skipped row. So it was like, you know, I knew I needed to pick up 13 more to make it even. So then I could kind of like flip it and like pull the yarn through and like add in stitches, whatever. Anyways, it's done. Button band is done. I realized as I was finishing it that I'm like, I can't remember if I actually picked out buttons for it yet. Oh well.
Oh well.
Like I know what the guidelines were, like this button hole should work for like a whatever 1-inch button or an 1.5-inch button. So
keep rubbing his leg. It's like I can't help it. I just want to like when you're on me. He doesn't want me to.
Yeah. Anyway, cool, so now I'm back to the sleeves. What?
It's exciting because I don't think you had that when I was there on.
No, it was pretty well. I think I started picking up the stitches on Sunday night. I did like maybe a row because it's like 200 and or not. Yeah, I don't know, like almost 300 stitches to go around. So I picked it all up.
What's the weight again? Worsted or DK?
DK.
DK.
And then,
which is funny. I always like feel funny saying DK because
yeah,
Jason's one of his really good friends. His nickname is DK.
And then so that's the 9-inch circulars.
What was on the tip?
Oh, just like little stoppers that you can put on the end of like double points.
Doesn't fall off.
Well, yeah, because I had like whatever, I don't know, 50 stitches, I think. So I was at Galt House of Yarn on Saturday because Crooked Kitchen Yarn had her trunk show.
Yeah, I forgot to ask you about that.
Stop in and say hi. So I stopped in and I was like, I wanted to try these. So 9-inch circulars, but with a 4mm tip to try knitting the sleeve. Because I was like, maybe just trying them will like help get me over that I have to frog the sleeve hump thing. And actually it wasn't that bad. Compared to my experience of trying socks on the 9-inch circulars, this was much easier. So what I figured out was, I mean, and I also have a lot more fabric, so I don't know if that makes a difference as well, but I found that I could hold it with like these 3 fingers and then tuck my other fingers kind of in front instead of trying, because I was always trying to like put all my fingers inside the work and I was like, there's not enough room. So this worked. It was just slower because I'm not as used to it. So I switched back to my magic looping just to speed it up, but it did. I probably knit 20 rows or so with the 9-inch and they were okay. I lived.
Yeah, I got to try them on the weekend as well, and I those were easier than the 2.25s.
Yeah.
I think partly because it's the shorter tip.
Yeah.
I don't know how long are the tips on those that I have? Are they 5?
Short.
What?
They would be the same. They'd be pretty short like this.
Okay. Anyways, either way, that was easier because it's not so fine.
Yeah.
But still, I still can't get the speed up. And I don't know if it's just a matter of being patient with it or not. But
I feel, for me, I think if I was knitting a sleeve that wasn't attached to the project, these would have been okay. But because it's attached to the
that was annoying.
It's like trying to turn it, and then I have 2 strands of yarn because I'm trying to like stripe together because the variegated, I just had like a little bit left of the one ball, so I was like, well, I might as well just stripe it to the end. And it's like there's just so much going on that I feel like with the 9-inch, I feel like I'm turning and moving all the time. That's like, you know, it's hard to like get. I found it a little bit trickier to get into a flow, but I'll definitely try them again. I'll just probably do them for a sleeve that's not attached.
Yeah,
that's my like main knitting right now. This one and my other test knit.
Yeah, cool.
Want to do one?
Sure. I'll do the most exciting one just in case we get disconnected early for reasons that are obvious. So this is like a yarnquisition and a new whip all in one. I am doing, which is the right side? Thank you. Rebel Just for Kicks, which is the right side? You think I should know this. This is the right side. Yeah, this is the right side. So this is Rebel Just by Kicks, designed by Gina from Flock on the Plain. She also dyed this yarn. This one, oh shoot, what is this yarn called now? Where's my bag? Here it is.
I realized, I don't know if yours has the colorway name on it, but mine, it has my name on it. The name says my name, and I was like, oh, I can't remember what the colorway was called.
No, this is the colorway. Oh, I can't read it. Onrario.
I think that's Ontario. I thought about that when I saw it on the weekend too, and then I was like, well, maybe I'm wrong because I couldn't remember what colorway you said you ordered. But
well, here's the thing: is
mine has my name, so I'm like, oh, I know it's not.
So I kind of ended up with like, well, so actually I don't know if this was a custom one. I could go on her website when I'm editing this video, and if I can insert the name, I will down below. Well, my timing's off right now. I didn't end up picking it though from her website. It was like she and I were going back and forth a little bit, because she didn't have the kits done up yet, and just going on her shop, I knew some of like the colors I liked were only on like baby alpaca, and I didn't want baby alpaca, so she helped me pick something that would work well for a tweed base. So yeah, this is, I'll try to find the colorway, but anyways, the yarn is DK weight on a tweed base, which is really awesome. And you can see, like, you can probably tell on the camera, hopefully, it's a gray with some, I don't know how do you say that, like variegated with light bluey gray, like a denim-y kind of a blue, and red, but it's sometimes so light that it shows up as like a pink. And then, as Gina calls them, little neps of the tweed that are there. Yeah. So, oh yeah, and I'll show you the most exciting part of it is the big feature. Oh shoot, I'm losing some strands now. The big feature of this shawl is the dip dyed fringe that will go.
Right now it looks like a mess.
Right now it's like, what are you gonna do with that?
You're gonna pull out 2 strands and you're gonna make a fringe. And
yeah, so some of it's already falling out. Where's that piece?
Yeah. I think it'll be a little bit of a commitment, like sit down and just work on it.
I was thinking that, but it's like the whole project is a commitment anyway. So, and at that point it'll be like the construction of it will be done. Just need to put the feathers on because it's like a bird. Well, when you look at like the picture on the pattern, especially the way the girl like poses with it, makes the fringe fly and stuff. It's like, and I feel like Gina keeps making like bird-ish references when she talks about it. Like you're right. It's like you're a bird.
So yeah, that's the colorway that I got, and this one was a colorway that she listed on her shop. I can't think of what it is, but it's basically like a variegated mauve, like dusty purple color, which is up my street. As you can see, purple is my jam. Also on the tweed base. So I'm excited to knit it again. Now that it's out of test mode and ready for the world, and to have the dip dyed fringe this time because I did not fringe my first one.
Yes. Sorry. So this one, I find this knit, like it's fun and I don't want to put it down. I want to keep working on it, but it's neat because it's like, I definitely like have to follow the directions super, like for every single stitch. There was at the beginning, the first little section, I ended up going way too far because I just was like, wee, I got the pattern now and keep going. But now I find for the rest of section 1 and the starting of section 2, it's like really, really follow every step carefully. I could see if you tried not to, you'd end up with a horrible mess. Just trust.
But it's neat because it's like your experience of knitting it is like a bit different from mine because, and like when we were chatting about it, realizing that you haven't knit a ton of shawls, and the shawls that you've knit that I've designed are very much like blocks of pattern. So it's like whatever your pattern is, you knit for the whole row. There might be some increases to pay attention to, but it's like a block of pattern, and then maybe like Adventures on the Wrong Side. It's like block of pattern, block a garter, block a pattern, block a garter. Whereas this, it's like in one row, you have like sections that you have to pay attention to, plus your increases. It's just like neat because it's like stretching your
yes. Yeah, I can feel that. Like for what I'm saying, it's not like a there was a couple of times I got a little frustrated and I was like, it's the pattern. But it's like, no, once I figured it out, I was like, no, it's not the pattern. It's just like, yeah, I'm just not experienced yet. So that I do feel like I'm gaining a new skill or increasing my experience level with this pattern, which is awesome. Yeah. It's fun though. Even when I was feeling a little bit like I'm not really sure what to do.
Yeah.
It is fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I honestly, I didn't sleep well last night. I was awake at like 5 a.m. I was tired, so I stayed in bed, but I was laying there like, do I go down and knit it? No, just stay and go to sleep again. Yeah. Oh, but I could just put like a little bit more, progress on it. No, don't do it or I won't be able to podcast this morning. So I didn't fall back to sleep until like 6:30. I rolled around for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Thinking about Flock on or Rebel Just for Kicks, which is also a song.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't listen to the radio a lot. If I do, I put music on my phone and listen to what I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's next? You did not cast yours on yet, obviously. No, you said that.
No, I need to get through these test knits. I'm not trying not to allow myself to cast on anything until these.
Oh yeah, you're close to your deadline for Solene.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be Wednesday. What's the date today?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow.
Last day of February.
Yeah, I'm just going to message her. Like, she knew that I had trouble with the sleeves. I mentioned last week that the decreased rate was a little too much for my huge Hulk-like arms. So I had to go back. But, I mean, really, I feel like in terms of giving feedback as a test knitter.
Yeah, you at this point.
I've done all the parts.
Yeah.
Finishing off the sleeves, they're super straightforward. There's nothing fancy on the sleeves. There's nothing. It's just more of a matter of actually getting it done so I can post my final project picture. But in terms of giving feedback over the rest of it, that's partially to why I jumped ahead and did the button band like next, because I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything there that I felt like I needed to give feedback on or anything like that. Anyways.
If you bring it Sunday, I'll take a picture of you with it by the falls or something. One day in the falls to a water park overnight. Yeah, so that's an option.
Yeah. Will it be done by then?
I feel like you should.
We'll see. It's like it could be done, but I just don't know about finishing.
Oh, okay.
Should have woven in ends as I went, because right now it just looks like strings everywhere.
Right.
Plus I have a second sleeve to knit. Like, this is only sleeve 1. I still have to go back and fix sleeve 2. So
yeah. Well, now you don't have to edit the podcast. So mind you could do that while you're editing, but
yeah.
Show me something else you're whipping. Whip it out.
In my I Heart You bag with my little bears. I can't really show it, but once again, my test knit for Jenny.
What? Do really fast so you can kind of see.
I got three full colors left, and I'm almost done with this light pink color. So I showed all the colors last week, and yeah. Like, it's hard because it's like this one, the sweater is due first. It should be done first. This one I have till the 10th, I think. And I really just want to knit on this one. Now that I have it like totally memorized, I really don't have to hardly pull out the pattern at all. The sections are just like flying so much quicker that it's really just making me not want to put it down. So I'm like, nope, I gotta buckle down, finish this cardigan so that I don't feel guilty that it's not done. Yeah, so that's all about that. What are you working on? Oh, Jason.
Jason's socks, which I have. It's not in a very exciting place, but I have 2 heels done for both of them now. They're getting close.
Mm-hmm.
I could have had these.
What kind of heel did you do? Fleegle again?
Fleegle again, yeah.
Yeah.
Which actually, I'm really loving them now.
Oh no, I'm not. So wasn't saying it like, oh, you did Fleegle again.
No, I know.
Curious.
No, I'm just saying it because I was like, I'll do them because they don't have the hole, but I still don't love them.
Yeah.
But no, I'm actually really enjoying Fleegle heels now.
I think it's like once you get the hang, right? Like it's, I don't know. I guess it's different for you because again, like just different levels of experience. For me, it felt like counterintuitive to the way I usually think about heels on a toe-up sock, because I've always done them either like a short row or an afterthought, which is basically a short row. So it just like it feels really weird. Like there's like certain things that I feel like, it's like I'm breaking some rule here. But then once it's done and then I have it on, I'm like, it is like the best fitting heel and so easy for a toe up that I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure. Not that I think I have a ton of sock knitting in my future because I just like other things, but I just like, I don't think I can go back now. It's forever.
My only, what?
I said it's Fleegle forever. Thanks, Bernadette, because that's how I heard about it. Bernadette of the, I think it's called Coffee and Crafting.
Okay, I don't
know. I'll try to remember to send it to you, and you can put it on the screen or whatever.
My only issue with Fleegle at the beginning was just depending on the type of colorway that you're using, like how it's variable, self-striping, whatever. Sometimes I'd find, or like pretty much like all the examples before that I'd see, I didn't like, unless it's a solid color, I just didn't like how the pattern interrupted the sock. I just thought it was really weird. I got really lucky because you can see like how there's that like the stripes that repeat. Yeah. Well, for both of them, I didn't get stuck. I was afraid that the stripes were gonna get stuck on this turn part. Mm-hmm. You looked really cute there, and you're like, anyways, I got lucky they didn't. So, but what sock? There was some sock I did recently that I ended up.
I think there was one for me where it like worked out that the stripe on like one of the Reggio ones.
I've done. It's
both pairs. The stripe pooled right on the heel, like not exactly the same, but like almost the same. So it looks more intentional or something.
Exactly. Every pair I've done, it's like worked out okay. However it works out, it's fine. And there was something else I did. Which sock was it? Like, why don't I remember? There's a sock I did with like a contrasting heel, and I just did the contrast in this area. Mm-hmm. I don't remember which sock it was though. Not for you.
Jason something?
Oh, that's what it was. His Patton's Croy with the FX yarn or whatever it was. Yeah.
Oh, with that marley kind of one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that looked really cool too. Yeah. So
that's really the only spot where you could easily, like super easily put in a second color is right on that little wedge, which isn't bad. Like,
and the only reason I liked it was because
fun things with that wedge, but
it happened that I kind of had to do it that way because that worked out really well too.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say is like I've just noticed with socks that have a really regular stripe pattern where you basically have the exact same number of rows per stripe color. Yes, you'll get a few rows where the stripes will be, because the rows are longer, the stripes will be thinner. But I don't think like overall looking at the sock, it's not so glaring. Like it's not like you look at that and you're like, oh, what happened there? And then you get the, two of the stripes, or depending on how wide your stripes are, pooling right on the heel. And I actually I think it just works really well for a very regular self-striping yarn.
Yeah.
So I stand by my previous statement. Fleegle forever.
Yeah. I still I will, with my Wonder Woman socks, which I haven't done anything on, I will do a tube and do an afterthought with the red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should look up, think in an, I almost said episode, in an issue of Knitty magazine, I believe there is a recipe, possibly by Kate Atherley, or I should check my book, my sock construction book that I just bought of hers. I believe she has made a recipe. Ooh, that's cleavagey. It's like, Who wants to knit? Good thing mostly women probably would watch this.
Not knit, spring all the boys to the ground. Yes, dang right.
Oh my goodness, that should be a pin or a project bag or something.
Yeah, my knit, spring all.
My knit, bring all the boys to the yard. All the balls to the yard is more like it. Anyways, I think Kate Atherley has written a recipe, formula, whatever, for adding a gusset to a sock that you want to use a short row heel on. I don't know if specifically afterthought or just short row in general, but you can always add in a second color for short row heel anyways, because it's basically the same thing. Anyways, you should think about looking that up if you are concerned about the fit with the afterthought heel, because she has some way to like add in the extra stitches to make like a gusset.
So it's an afterthought gusset heel?
No, I think it was a way to add in extra stitches to your sock to do a gusset, like to add a gusset on a toe-up sock while also using a short row heel.
Okay.
So Fleagle, why Fleagle fits better is because you're adding a gusset. You're adding extra stitches where your foot is the widest, like your ankle on the front, your heel on the back. Your foot is wider there than above and below it, right? So that those extra stitches are that gusset. And same with like a toe flap or a heel flap. There's a gusset. There's extra stitches there. So I think, yeah, I don't think it's specifically an afterthought heel in that I think you do as you go along, but I don't know. It would just be interesting to read it and see how it works. Like if you think there'd be an obvious way to add in that second color and just do it as you go along instead of specifically afterthoughting it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer that only because, like, let's be honest, it's scary to cut your knitting.
Yeah.
So, but I
that's what I have had done in the past before I knew about afterthought heels. If I wanted my heel to be a different color, you just grab your second yarn, work your little afterthought or work your little short row heel, and then drop that color, go back to your original color and keep going in the round for the leg.
When I was doing short row, yeah, why wouldn't I just do short row then? I think just because the gaps.
Yeah.
And because I just want it to be like a car knit.
Yeah.
I don't have to measure or anything. Yeah. I'm sorry, that was creepy. I was just thinking those socks would be something that I can like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely afterthought is good for when you're traveling with your socks and don't want to have to stop and think about the heel or read a pattern or whatever.
Cars are also, generally speaking, it's a great time for me to like start a sock. So I can always just
totally start
another pair when we're going to Niagara Falls. So I was thinking I'll like, I'm going to do like 2 hours of knitting to Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sometimes what I've done before a long car ride, like I think before camping. Oh, actually, and before we went to the demolition derbies and races and stuff that we were taking the kids to in the summer, I did the toe the night before. So I didn't even have to think about the increases as we were going along. Because like sometimes I get distracted and then I realize like on a row for the toes, I might increase on one end, but forget on the other end because I get something makes me have to stop. So I just did the whole toe before and then stuck it in the bag so that as soon as I got in the car or got to the bleachers or whatever, it was just knitting in a circle with like little to no having to pay attention, you know?
Yeah. That's when I end up going too far though.
But that's what I mean about like, then you can do it as a toe up and do an afterthought heel. So you don't actually have to like stop and pay attention.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends how long your ride is and how fast a knitter you are, but I know I'm not likely to knit, say, 50-gram tube in one sitting.
It depends on the weight of the yarn, right? Like if I'm doing your socks for the Regia 6 ply, with the number of stitches that you use, I can easily do your foot. And if I'm going to do a Fleagle heel, like this much you're actually knitting. Yeah, I can do that. I could do that easily or more.
But that's what I'm saying is like, so then that wouldn't be your ideal car project.
Yeah.
Your ideal car project would be just a tube.
Yeah.
And if you were like, I guess, like if you were, like, say it was like a really long car ride or a flight or something like that, where you're like, I'm concerned I may actually make it to the end of this tube. If it were me, I'd split the yarn ahead of time. I'd measure it out, split it ahead of time, probably cast on both my toes, so I really didn't have to worry about it, and then just like knit a tube till I run out of yarn, and then go to the other one, and then worry about the heels whenever I have time to pay attention or whatever. I'm very planful when I know I'm going to be like camping. I was like, I'm going to bring this because I know it's at this point, and I probably like, I can knit to this X point, and I can bring this, and I could cast on this because that won't be a hard cast on. Like, yeah. Anyways, the only other thing I was really working on this week, what's in that bag? Oh yeah, 2 things, I guess. So I was working on, I am teaching a mitten class for the next 3 Fridays. So this is my mitten sample. I have to modify it slightly because I'm not sure what exactly happened, if it was that I just blindly followed the pattern and didn't really think about measuring my hand or what, but my mitten is a little longer than my hand actually is. A little extra floppy in there.
Is it a self-striping yarn?
No. So the class is going to...
Clark just sneezed and I could tell it was wet.
Okay. What was I talking about? Okay, so other project that I was working on, this took me not long at all. Galt House of Yarns, I'm teaching a mitten class for them. So it's a 3-part class starting this Friday. I think there's 1 spot left in the class if you're in the area and would like to join us.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, so what we'll be learning is how to make a lined mitten. So techniques covered in the class, we're doing an I-cord cast on. We're doing jogless stripes. We're doing the
right. Yes, that's why it was
thumb.
Sorry, the not self-striping.
Yeah,
yarn. That's why you did it. Okay.
Jogless stripes.
And how did you find it? Because
pretty much the same as like feedback I had heard about it in the past. That like it's not hard to do.
No.
But it's not. Jogless might not be the best description for it. It's like reduced jog. Like, right. So I actually did the very first stripe regular, like just the first color change without doing the jogless stripe because I wanted to actually be able to like really see the difference.
Yeah.
And it's like, instead of being like a whole stitch above, it's like half a stitch above. Using the technique that was described in the pattern. Now, I know there are other techniques to do it, but obviously I did the one in the pattern because it's the pattern was written by Anne, who is the owner of Galt House of Yarns, so that's what we're using for the class. So I wanted to do it the same way everybody else is going to be doing it.
Yeah. And did you use DPNs?
I did use DPNs. I haven't used DPNs for like a full project in a really long time, but I have the everything stored in my shopping bag still. So I was like, couldn't be bothered to get up and find the project bag. I've been using the Knitter's Pride Zings because that's what Galt House of Yarn carries.
Right, okay.
It's the closest, most available yarn shop to me at this time, and not saying like that as a complaint at all. It's just very convenient for me to go there and buy what I need.
Yeah.
And I actually quite like these. I've used other DPNs in the past. So when I first started sock knitting, I only used DPNs, but they were like the, you know, that gray metal, like all one color. The sizes aren't on them, so I'd get them all mixed up, like drove me crazy. And they're very long. And for socks, like, you know, quite thin. I used to like, mine would have ridiculous, I don't even know if I still have all my old ones. I should show them someday because they're like curved like that, because I had such tight tension that I would really like put a bend on them. But I really like these. I find the tips are like a good amount of pointiness, but without being like super sharp. Because I also tried, I can't remember what the brand is called, but the carbons, where they're like black on the body. And I think the tips are like a little bit, now I know obviously this is a higher size than what the carbons that I had bought were more like sock size, but I also have a sock size set of these for using, because they're shorter ones for doing the little advent calendar, like socks using those little advent calendar balls. And yeah, I find they're good. They're a good balance of like pointy but not sharp. And I like that because the bodies are colored. One, you can tell them all apart from each other because they're color coordinated. So although the size is also laser cut into the body, which is super helpful, they're color coded. And then the tip is like a little bit more slick than the body. So it helps to hold the stitch a bit better. Because doing the I-cord cast on, I thought, so what I normally do with like a DPN, I mean, again, because I used to use super long ones, I would cast on all the stitches onto one and then start dividing it up and then start knitting the round. So they never really have to hang out in limbo for too long. But doing the I-cord cast on for this, the needle, like this is DK weight. So the needle wasn't quite long enough that I thought, oh, I'm going to start pushing stitches off the other end. So I had to bring in another DPN. And I was like, oh gosh, are they going to slide off like hanging in space like this while I'm doing my little I-cord? And they actually stayed very well, like because of that texture on the body. I was not worried at all because I was thinking about, okay, like, is this going to have to be like a tip that I bring for the class is like what you would do? Because I was thinking like I could add a stopper on the end like these, but like that's like another supply to buy if you don't want to buy supplies. What do? I was like, oh, you can just get those little elastics like from the dollar store that you use for like, you know, kids' hair. Grab like 2 of them and like twist it around and basically make like a makeshift stopper. I was like, there's lots of little tricks that you can do, but I was like, you know, like Kate Atherley when we did the hat,
that's what I was thinking.
Like hanging them out in space. I was like, oh, they actually stayed, and I feel like partially why they stayed was the texture of the body of the needle. So yeah, so I used DPNs the whole way. And the only place that was kind of a pain was the thumb, just because like obviously the DPNs are long and there's not a lot of stitches, but it wasn't, I mean, thumb's small enough that's not a big deal. Anyways, yeah, so I think the outside I used this Diamond Luxury Impressions. And I think it's wool, alpaca, and viscose. Which I forgot that had alpaca in it. It's nice. It's quite soft. I'm not really an alpaca lover, but it's only 25%, so it's not a high amount. And then the inside is, I think it's Myasol. I don't know if I have the tag.
Excuse me.
I don't have the tag. It's Myasol. It's a silk, bamboo, and wool, I think, blend. So it's very soft. It's really nice. So
nice.
Quite luxurious.
Oh, the bamboo. You just said bamboo blend, right? Yeah,
I think it has bamboo in it, if I'm not mistaken.
I'd like to try bamboo still. Yarn.
Yeah.
I had a question. Oh, are you gonna make the second one?
Yeah, but with the class.
Okay.
So I can like cast on and like show all the ways that I like do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is good actually, because I've been thinking to myself I should make myself another pair of mittens. I like to leave a pair in my purse, but then sometimes when I have them on my hands, I come in and I leave them in the house. So I kind of want to have a pair that I just leave in the car.
Yeah.
So it's just like they're there, and then try to remember to take them off and leave them in the car all the time. It's just nice to have like backup pairs of stuff around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got, for me, it's chapsticks. Having like my purse, my car, my bedroom. Like
I used to always leave one in the car. And then some.
Oh yeah, I don't anymore.
Summer they melt, and then you go to open them up, and they're either all in the cap or they're like on my dashboard.
It's true. It's for me. It's my purse.
Yeah.
Sometimes my winter coat, because we all go out for like walks without my purse.
Yeah.
In my bedroom. Yeah.
And then I don't know. Do you have another whip?
I mean, been working on stuff, but I just like, it's like little rows here and there.
Yeah.
I have anything that's like interesting to look at this week. You keep going.
I put a little bit of progress, a little bit more progress on my brackish.
That looks really pretty.
Yeah. So I think so this section kind of looks like a little plus symbol will be in that dark teal color. I think after that, I'm going to increase a little bit. I don't know. I want to like increase it a little bit so it like works for how I like a cowl to be, but I don't want it to mess up the color work stuff, and I really don't want to have to like think too hard about how to adjust it. So I got to figure out what's the right spot to start monkeying around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like it so far.
Cool.
It's a nice knit, and again, I have to like resist the urge to spend time with it so that I can finish other things, but
It's your reward for when your other things are done.
and sometimes it's like a good break. Like I'll do a bunch on one thing and then I'll be like, all right, I'm allowed to put a few rows on this, because the rows aren't super fast with the color work and doing 2 at the same time. So it's like it's not a ton of progress, but I still feel like I get to spend like some meaningful time with it, you know?
Yeah.
Like whereas something like stockinette where you're like, oh, just put 1 row on it. It's like, whoa. Doesn't really feel that satisfying. Whereas like 1 or 2 rows on that is like, I can actually see that something happened. Cause like,
yeah.
Anything else? I thought I had.
I've got, it's funny because I've got like all my bags beside me, but yeah, they're just not very interesting right now. Be more interesting next week.
I thought I brought up something else, but I don't know where I put it, if I did.
Oh yeah, I do have that to show. Right, I put them right here too. Got some bling.
So Twill and Print, Tiffany, who is, I think, in Montreal-ish. I don't know, somewhere in Ontario. I think she's in Montreal, but I can't remember.
Oh, is she?
Oh, that's not Ontario. Wow.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but
yep, that just happened. I don't know. She's in Canada.
she's close to Ontario.
Or Ottawa, maybe? I don't know. I can't remember. Close enough.
I think she goes to the Espace Tricot Knit Nights. And that's in Montreal, correct?
Yeah. Well, or Quebec somewhere. Anyway, so she started out as a sewist, and as she does like her own screen printing designs on her fabrics, and then makes like really great project bag type purse things. So I have one of her purse style-y kind of ones. I love that. One of her purse style ones that are more buckety type things.
This pen just wants me to watch TV. When I spin it, it goes to episode.
Anyways, and then she started designing some enamel pins. So I have at least one other one of hers, but she just came out with a few new designs that I just think are so cute. I love this one. Although I'm not a particularly
No, you're not.
Slow knitter. He's just so cute.
He is so adorable with all the.
It reminds me of, remember that wood turtle with the earth globe on his back? It reminds me of that.
Yeah. But no jewels.
Friggin' love.
Yarn bomb.
Little yarn bomb.
Mine's the pin and yours is the progress keeper.
And then I was supposed to have one more spinner, but I'm not sure what happened. My only other thing that I could show is...
It's okay if you don't, because I should get going.
It's sitting next to me, and I just...
okay, go for it.
Looking at it. And I really want to cast on with it, but again, I just need to get
this
finished so I can be done. So, Cindy.
Hello, Cindy. The color, we'll see what it looks like on the playback. It's not showing up the greatest. That's,
on my view, like on my screen, it's pretty true. It's a little bit yellowed because of my light and whatever, but it's not bad.
For me, I mean, I know that it's blue, and it's like that. What did you call it? That old blue?
That's what I think she called it.
Yeah.
So it's like a dark-ish blue. There's also some light blue in there too, but it's dark-ish blue, but it's like got like a grayness to it, and then with blacks and grays and obviously the white. Oh my goodness, it's perfect for a new design that I have on the hook, and I'm like maybe a third or so of the way through with the yarn that I originally started with. I'm kind of at that point where it's like getting to decision time, like, okay, I got to decide sort of how the next parts are going to progress, but I just want to start over with that because that's the one that's really going to like look amazing. So it's called In the Mist, the big one.
Right. Yeah, the big guy.
10.50, which she said is probably actually more like 11 because she always does like a little extra to make sure you don't run out.
It's nice.
Yeah. Cool. Anyways, I'm excited about that.
Have you finished one of her big cakes before then?
Nope.
No, 'cause I've got,
just keep giving them to you.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one I will finish, but that's one I hope I will finish because I really want to finish one and be like, yes, I did it. Problem is, I have project ADD, I have design ADD, and especially with the ones that you had, not so much with the Stitch with Grit. That one I probably could have got through, just because the other one was like a different construction. I didn't want to leave you with all that. And then with the keyed up, it's like I've made too many now. Like I'll never make it to the end of that one. This one, it's like I could probably make it to the end of it, but I'm just not sure if it's the best when I know that the next part's going to be like a bit of experimentation, because like in my head, I have like a couple of different ways that I can see the rest of this project going. And I just don't know. I just don't want to have to like work it and frog it and work it and frog it so many times that it ends
you don't get excited. No, because it is like, it's nice.
I'm not getting excited, but that the yarn just doesn't look nice anymore. You know,
right.
When you frog something too many times, it starts to show wear, and I just like, that's not.
You'll probably enjoy it a lot more if you leave that monster. I like calling her cakes monsters because they look like them. If you leave the monster until you've like totally worked out the pattern, because you'll have so much fun. It's so much fun to watch those strands change.
Yeah.
On the wave gradient. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
More so than even boring.
Like doing something a second time when you've already done one large thing, you know? It's like two large things. It's like I just worry that I'll get bored of it partway through. Not that I'm bored of the yarn, but bored of the pattern, and because I'll be thinking about the next thing I want to do, you know?
You always have me as the escape route though.
Well, that's why I kind of want to just cast it on or start playing around with the other one now, even though I'm not quite to where I want to be, because the other one is with the stroll gradient. So I'm this much through it, and I got this much to go.
Right. Plus you want to switch.
Not much at all, but I also know my intention anyways, depending on how the rest of this goes, is to add in some of the tonal at the other end. And it's just like I'm playing in my head of like how I want the shape to go. So
well, if you work out the kink,
I don't want to just like leave this for you to finish and just start going on that one. But I may play around with the shape and then frog it back to where I have it now, and then start going on that one and kind of fill in the details as I go. That's
what I was going to say. If you work out your kinks on that one, then just give it to me. Give me the stroll gradient one to finish.
Yeah.
And then, that will help you to get to the end of the monster, because you'll be like, ooh, I didn't do the whole thing yet.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. And what I've done so far is like very, not mindless, but easy and straightforward. Anyways, my magic wand hook I love so much.
That's the one from Steve?
Yeah, it's like one of the few things my husband has ever surprised me with, like truly surprised me with. He is not good at surprising. He is a last minute Larry when it comes to gift giving. Like it's like, yeah, he'll be like day before or day of said occasion running around the mall like freaking out because he knows what he wants in his head, but he waited till the last minute to start looking for it. So now he has limited options of where he can go with the time that he has. But I had mentioned these. So the company is called Gypson, I think, like GIPSON ones. So the guy, he hand turns them.
Gibson?
Yeah, I don't know. Gypson?
Usually I pronounce G's as G. But I guess giraffe ruins that.
Well, I don't know. Whatever. We'll put it on or in the notes or whatever. He's on Instagram.
Put phonetic how you pronounce it as well.
Just message him and ask. So he makes like wands and is really into like Harry Potter stuff. So he does some other things that are like Harry Potter themed and stuff. But then started making these wand style crochet hooks. And I just thought, oh, that's so cool. I'm a little witchy at heart. So yeah, I was like, oh, this is so cool. I really need one of these. But then I was like, some occasion was coming up if it was Christmas, and like we have like Christmas, anniversary, and my birthday are all within like a 1 month little window. So I was like, make it a Christmaversary present, and like that'll be it. Steve's like so not into ordering things online, so that also was a factor. And so I figured it was never going to happen. And then he came out with it, and I was like, I actually got like a little teary. Like, of all the things he's ever gifted me, like he's gifted me like, you know, jewelry and like pretty things like that. And this one, actually, I was like surprised and like amazed that he actually like picked the right thing and ordered it in advance. So it came in time for gifting it, and that he asked his boss if he could use his company card to order it, because otherwise, like, we share accounts, so I'd be able to see that he had placed an order.
At Mello?
Yeah.
You'll actually let him? That's nice.
I think he talked to Maria.
Oh, okay.
Either way.
Yeah.
I mean, and whatever. It's not like he wasn't going to pay it back. Like, it's not like he's in the company buy this. Like, you know, he's obviously going to pay it back, but he's just like, I need to surprise her, and that's the only way I can do it. And I think it just so happened that Christmas, if I remember correctly, either I was very sick or I and Miles were very sick. Because I also vaguely recall, because it was the same year that I sent Steve out, because Steve was like, do we need anything else for Christmas, and la, la, la. And I was like, the only thing I wanted is I really wanted to go to Cambridge Fibers, which is that little store like right beside Len's Mill, to get undyed wool, because someone else had just bought one and said there was one left. And I was like, oh, you have to go and get this, because I can't go out. Like, I'm not going to make it right now. Yeah, I think Miles had a really bad stomach bug and was like, he was still going to
make it. Go get the yarn.
I could not leave Miles. He was little enough. He wasn't that little, but he was little enough and was still nursing.
Yeah, it's like the magical boob juice. You got to stay with them. Yeah.
It was terrible. This was like probably the worst stomach bug we've ever had, because he was nursing and literally just wanted to nurse all day, but then would just be sick all the time. So it was like nursing and puking all day long. I was like, I'm going to die. Like, this is disgusting and I hate it. But I was like, I can't leave him because I just feel so bad. Anyways, so yeah, Steve got this big thing of yarn for me. I was like so happy with that. And then it was like the next day, I think, that he gave me the hook, and I was like, oh, you actually got me like a real present. Anyways, and then I, a while ago, misplaced it.
Oh, yeah, right.
And it was not really lost. It was just in a project bag, stupidly. Yeah. Anyways, so now that it's back, I feel like design power is harnessed in this book. Which sounds ridiculous, but it's true. I use this hook, and things that I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work, they always do. Because of the hook. Oh, yeah, and then this is the other thing. My keys just happen to be sitting here. He was like, well, I couldn't just get you a hook that you never get to take anywhere. He got me a mini one.
That's cute.
I love that thing.
That's hilarious, because it's like your mentality with things. Well, you can't just get that.
Yeah. Totally. He knows how he gets me.
The power of the hook. That goes like calling to him. Don't leave work until you've ordered me. And order another one.
It's magical.
Yeah. Awesome.
I just love it. It has like little like natural cracks kind of in it, and a little bitty knot thing there.
Cool.
Seriously, it's like one of those things I just could sit and like stare at it lovingly. Anyways, now that I've gone on about a crochet.
I was going to say, that was a 15-minute long story.
Excessively long time. I don't know. Does anybody else have like that tool or that thing that you just like, when you use that, or when you knit with that, or when you have that near you, like maybe it's your favorite stitch markers or your best progress keeper, or like there's like a story attached to it, and it brings up those feelings that enhance whatever you're working on. Like, no, just
I don't at this point, but yeah, I'd love to know if anyone else does. What'd you say?
I said you'll get there. You'll have a thing. You'll have a thing.
I don't want a thing.
Anyways, I was feeling mildly ambitious about work, but now I just want to work on this. Now I just want to crochet with my magical hook. I'm going to put it in my hair. Maybe it'll help me work today.
I want to go so I can play with editing this thing. This bugger. Nice. Very good, Pebbles. No, she doesn't have a stick in her hair.
Yep, yeah, Pebbles.
Yeah, she does a bone, right? Okay.
Bone, yeah.
Okay.
You gotta like roll it down though. Pin it to the top of my head. All right, well, there's something I was thinking about earlier.
This is how our phone calls go too. All right, I gotta go. I gotta do
I
work.
stay on the phone with her for 3 hours. I'm like, well, it's a lot of silences where we talk about nothing, where we're just like listening to the background noises of each other.
No, it's more the like, okay, I gotta go and I gotta get some work done. I'm gonna have lunch now. I think what I'm gonna have for lunch is this, and then it's gonna be delicious, and I'm gonna digest it for this long, and then I'm gonna crush the rest of the day.
Like, well, speaking of digestion, I was reading this cool article. No, I'm saying that would be how our conversation.
Right. I thought I for a split second, I actually thought you were gonna say something. Oh, that's so funny.
I can make something up for you, but I really don't have anything in mind.
Don't do it. All right. Yarn on, people. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy the sunshine. Hopefully there is some wherever you are, because we are like all sunshiny days up in here.
It's true.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So much so that, because every spring, at the beginning of every spring, we always have a lakefront property in our backyard. Well, because of our backyard pooling. That sounded weird. A lakefront property in our backyard.
It's like,
You get what I mean. There's all the snow melts. Our backyard is the lowest of like the 6 around us, and so all the thaw comes to us, which is fantastic for little kids. And I almost said that sarcastically, but I'm like serious. It's fantastic. They love splashing around in the water. But because of all the sunshine, and we haven't had a lot of rain or anything this spring or transition time, it's pretty much gone, all the water.
Yeah. I wouldn't bank on it staying like this for too much longer, I think.
Well, I know. It's hard to know, though, because I figured we would have had something by now. I suppose, I know we'll still have something, but it's like, it's just not going to, like, accumulate on what we already had.
It's not going to accumulate, I don't think, too bad, would be my guess.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But we always end up getting something in March.
Yeah, I think we'll get some more.
Slushy snow, rain mix or whatever.
I don't think we're like straight.
Make it a little more pedal time before.
But it's more just like getting rid of like the base layer of like icy brown disgusting snow, and then whatever we get now, it's like it'll be, maybe it would last 24 hours. That's what I expect. Anyway. The joys of living in Ontario. Crazy transition, the roller coaster ride of changing of seasons.
We should call it, there should be more seasons. Like there's like the true seasons where you actually have like 2 or 3 weeks where you really are like, yes, this is spring. Yes, this is summer. And then there's like the 3 months in between each one where
they're not really sure what
winter, but maybe it's spring, but I'm not really sure. And
which makes like, because we have this really small home, for one thing, like, we have to like keep only that season's worth of clothing in like out right now, and well, mainly for the kids. So then you gotta like, it's hard to like, do I give you short, like especially when it's like winter to fall, it's like 1 week you need your long pants, the next week you need shorts again. Anyway, so and the front hall, the transition of seasons is killer for at the front door, like having snow boots one day and snow pants, and even just like slushy pants and rain boots the next day. It's my job is basically mostly organizational in my home. Food preparation and organizational.
Personal assistant.
I feel like that. Mom, where's my stuff?
Oh no! Find it yourself.
If you would put it back in my organizational setup, you would. Sometimes it is right there. They're just like, they get used to just asking.
It drives me nuts. You're like, you're standing on top of it. I can't find my shoes. Like, look on your feet. Oh my gosh. All right.
Okay. That time it was me.
Yeah.
It's your wand power.
Okay. All right.
Yarn on, people.
Yarn on.
Have a great week.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.